I opted out of the glucola drink for gestational diabetes testing for two main reasons. First, the ingredients. If you look at the ingredients of what's actually in that drink, it's really terrible. And it's not something that I would ever want to put into my body while I'm pregnant. So this is the laboratory provided drink in France. I'm sure it's similar in North America. So I took this video of the ingredients. So you can see that there is glucose, which we don't know the source of that glucose, probably from corn, possibly GMO, I don't know. It has a preservative, which is sodium benzoate, which I don't want to eat. And it also has orange flavor. So it's just not something that I want to have. It's heavily processed and I don't want to put that in my body while I'm pregnant. I heard about an alternative to this glucola drink called the Fresh Test, which I did buy while I was in North America. It has really simple ingredients. It has organic, non-GMO sugar, glucose. It has lemon and mint. So there's no preservatives, no additives, nothing artificial, and it is way healthier than the glucola drink. So I did buy this to bring with me to France to take to the laboratory for my testing. The laboratory would have let me use the Fresh Test if I had the right weight. So the laboratory drink is 75 grams and then the powder of the Fresh Test that I had was 100 grams. And I would have had to weigh out the powder to make my own drink, but I didn't bring a scale and they didn't have a scale for me to use. So I didn't end up doing that test. Which brings me to the second reason why I didn't want to take this glucola drink, and that's because I would never have 75 grams of sugar on an empty stomach. I know my body does not handle sugar well, especially on an empty stomach. So it just wouldn't be an accurate representation of how my body actually uses sugar. I know that when I have sugar, I have like a big spike and then a huge crash afterwards. So I just know that it's not good for me to eat that much sugar, especially while pregnant. I feel like that's like an extra stress on the body that I didn't want to have. So I talked to my midwife about my concerns and she provided an alternative test for me. So I didn't use my Fresh Test. I still have it, which maybe I'll use for a future pregnancy. Maybe I'll give to a friend, who knows? But the test I ended up doing was a fasting blood glucose test. I had my normal breakfast and then 2 hours later, I tested my blood sugar again. And I feel like this is a way more accurate representation of what's happening in my body and it's what I chose to do.